This morning I got up really early. It's like 3 a.m. right now. So gonna go out and try to cut a buck track. I got just a short amount of time, so I wanted to maximize it by getting out sooner and see if I could get ahead of anybody else that would be looking to cut a buck track as well. So yeah, it's gonna be one of those exciting adventures here today. Gonna try to see what I can find. All right, so I've been driving around here this morning and I finally cut what I believe to be a really good size buck track. It's bigger than all the tracks that I've been finding. Most of the tracks that have been catching my eye have been just over 2 inches wide, and this one here is at least 2 3/8 inch wide. You know, probably a pretty nice deer. Alright, so I found my very first bed, and it looks pretty good size. He came from that direction over there, made a little loop, and then he cut right up here to where I'm standing right now. See all the glisten? That means there's frost there, so he hasn't been in this spot for a few hours probably. Alright, so I'm going to step it off. You can see some big tracks in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 51-inch bed. Just found the second bed, and this one looks fresh. I think I may have bumped this buck out of this bed because there's running tracks coming out of here. Okay, so this is the view from the buck's bed. He's looking out. The ridge kind of drops off right out in front over here. He's got a lot of dense cover all the way around him. It's kind of like a wind-blown hinge cut bedding area. So what my plan is here is I'm gonna just wait for probably another half hour or so. Give it a little bit of time, and then I'm just gonna slowly move along. Try to get a visual on him before he sees me. Anything's possible at this point. I mean, we're in the money, man. So I've waited about at least 45 minutes since the time when I found the bed. And it was probably longer than that since I boogered him. So he should have close to an hour right now to let things kind of settle down and forget about what happened. So I'm just gonna be moving along really slowly. I just stumbled across one of his beds. Maybe that was where he was bedding yesterday before he went out to feed. And there's another bed just up here. So he's running right through his actual beds. That's a pretty good look at his track there. When I first found his bed, it was right up on that point up there. Okay, so he's made his way down here. Those other beds were right over in that direction over there. And so now he's kind of sneaking up this way, following right up to the opening up in this slashing. So this buck has basically made a beeline right across this slashing. I am now at the top of the hill. The slashing is just down that way. Okay. And he's stepped into an old bed. I don't know what bed this is, but it's not his. But he stood in the bed and he took a whiz. And you can see his nice track. He's got a really nice track. He's continuing to head that way. Eventually he's going to have to bed, but this is the first sign that I've seen of him really wanting to slow down at all. I think he must have gotten onto a doe track because all of a sudden he has started doing the railroad tracks. He's dragging his feet. all of a sudden, straight out ahead of me, hear a deer blow. Shoot. It's got, man, probably within 100 to 125 yards of it, but I couldn't see it anyways. I heard it and it was like, trying to get ready, but, there's no way. That thing had me pegged. The snow is getting noisy though now. It's real crunchy. It's warm enough. It's going to be 39 degrees here today. Well, I just found the bed that I boarded him from. Take a look at that. I was just right up over there. It's right there, man. Right there. Interestingly, this spot where he's bedded is right on a military crest. It's just a small little hill here, but you can see down below. He's got the southerly wind coming across this point here. I'll show you this. This is crazy. So, where he's facing, right here, you can tell that the direction that they're facing by their knees. So his knees are right up there. So his head is pointed this direction and he's looking back this way or checking his back trail that way. When he entered this bed, he came down here and then did the classic J hook up into his bed right there. Just standing here in the bed of that buck, just, texting people to give updates. And I look down the hill right in front of me, 20 yards away, is a doe, and she's got a fawn. And they're kind of nibbling away on stuff and just browsing. And then just, they kind of made their way up a little bit towards the point over here, about 15 yards away, and that's when she spotted me. But meanwhile, back behind her is there's another doe, and I heard the thing making these grunting noises, and I was like, whoa, is it the buck? And I'm freaking out because my gun is right there, and I've got this doe staring me right down, and I'm like, oh. How horrible would that be to have that buck that close and then not get a shot? But it ended up just being a doe. So it was like two does and a fawn that were with each other. Wow, was that exciting? It is so crazy to see deer at eye level 20 yards out in the middle of the woods, man. It is crazy. This is fun. I love this kind of hunting.
So I continued on tracking after that buck the rest of that day, and I was unsuccessful in my attempts. But despite that, it's the closest that I've ever gotten to a buck that I was tracking. Now there are two main things that I learned from this hunt. The first one was that I need to pay attention to areas where there are wind-blown trees. As you could see in this hunt, this buck was bedded right on the edge of an area where a bunch of trees blew down right on the tip of a point. So this was a classic area where a buck would bed, but then you add in those downed trees to the mix, it really makes it a very good location for him to bed. Later on that day, as I was tracking this buck, I came to another area where there was wind-blown trees, and I bumped 2 deer right out of the edge of that wind-blown area. It goes to show that even in the big woods, these small areas where there's pockets of downed trees, that can be a really good area to key in on. The second thing that I learned from this hunt is that when that buck was dragging his feet, he was not chasing after a doe. He was getting tired. And at that point, I should have read the sign and known I need to slow down, get into that death crawl pace where it's just taking every moment that I can to just glance and look and try to spot him. But I just kept right on going quickly, and that's what boogered my opportunity in that instance. Overall, I have to say this was a very exciting hunt for me, and I'm looking forward to continuing trying this method out in the big woods of northern Wisconsin. If you enjoyed this video, I'd encourage you to hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to my channel.